Hello, friends. So, it's been a long time since I uploaded a video on YouTube because I've been very busy recently, and I've been wanting to share something super exciting with you all. My absolute passion for drawing environments and interiors in my digital art style. I know it might sound a bit quirky, but trust me, there's a whole world of awesomeness behind it. You know how some folks are all about drawing portraits or creating crazy characters? Well, for me, it's all about capturing the essence of space. I'm talking about everything from bustling cityscapes to cozy little cafes and even dreamy fantasy realms. There is just something so captivating about depicting the vibe and atmosphere of a place through art. The thing is, what drives me to do this is the magic of storytelling. Environments and interiors aren't just background fillers, they are characters in their own right. Can you imagine a mysterious abandoned mansion with overgrown vines? Doesn't it instantly stir up a sense of adventure? Or a futuristic cityscape with neon lights? You can practically hear the hum of technology. I love how each scene can tell a different story, and I get to be the storyteller with my digital brush. Then there is the challenge factor. Well, nailing the perspective, getting the lighting just right, and adding those tiny details that bring space to life. It's like cracking a satisfying puzzle. And trust me, when you finally get it, the feeling is as good as finding the last piece of chocolate hidden in the pantry. But it's not just about the technical side. Drawing these environments allows me to explore my imagination in ways I never thought possible. I can mix and match different styles, eras, and cultures to create something totally unique. It's like being the director of my own imaginary movie, a movie where the sets are as important as the characters. You know, sometimes I find myself scrolling through travel vlogs, architecture magazines, and even peeping into people's Instagram posts. It's crazy how a single snapshot can spark an entire artwork. It's like taking a virtual vacation without leaving my room. And let's be real, who wouldn't want that? Especially on a rainy day. I think what really makes me tick is the emotional connection. When I draw a cozy cabin in the woods, I can almost feel the warmth of the fireplace. When I sketch a bustling market square, I can almost hear the vendors haggling and the distant chatter of people. It's like injecting life into still images, and that feeling is addictive, like having a never-ending supply of your favorite snacks. I've got to admit, the appreciation from others doesn't hurt either. When someone looks at my artwork and goes, "Wow, I wish I could step into that scene," or "You've captured the essence perfectly." Oh boy, that's a feeling that sends my heart doing cartwheels. It's like I'm spreading a bit of my own excitement about these places to others. And that connection is a bit like sharing a secret handshake with fellow art lovers. And can we talk about the learning curve? Every drawing is a chance to learn something new, whether it's experimenting with different textures, nailing the play of light and shadows, or even researching historical architectural styles. I'm constantly growing as an artist. It's like having a self-guided art school that's tailored exactly to my interests. Well, speaking of getting lost, have you ever found yourself just daydreaming about a place you've never been? That's what happens to me all the time. I'll stumble upon a picture of a charming little village in the countryside, and suddenly I'm mentally strolling down its cobblestone street and feeling the crisp breeze on my face. It's like my art has this teleportation power, and I can escape to these picturesque realms anytime I want. I've got a secret stash of art supplies, and my digital tablet is the crown jewel. It's like my trusty wand that lets me conjure up worlds at the flick of a wrist. From a vibrant watercolors to slick urban sketches, my tablet can do it all. And the best part? There is no mess to clean up afterward. Well, unless you count the visual layers. You might be wondering where this fascination with environments and interiors came from. Well, remember this time as a kid when you built blanket forts and pretend they were secret hideouts? I think that's where it all started for me. I've always been drawn to the idea of spaces having stories of walls that have seen laughter and tears of windows that have framed countless sunsets. And let's not forget the power of nostalgia. Sometimes I'll recreate spaces from my own memories, my childhood bedroom, my favorite cafe, even my grandma's kitchens. It's like breathing life into those moments and preserving them in pixels. And when others see my art and say, hey, that looks just like my grandma's place. Oh man, it's like we're sharing a slice of our personal history. I've got this whole routine when I start a new piece. First, I'll scour the internet for reference images and be the mood board that mismatch of ideas. And then comes the sketching phase, mapping out the proportion and making sure everything fits just right. Let me tell you, there is something oddly therapeutic about sketching endless line until they finally come together like a jigsaw puzzle. And then, coloring is a whole other adventure. Choosing the palette is like deciding the personality of the space. Soft pastel for a cozy library, bold hues for a futuristic city, and earthy tones for a rustic cabin. Each color plays a role in setting the mood, and when it all clicks, the image starts to pop. It's like watching a black and white movie suddenly into Technicolor. The final touches are my favorite part. Adding those tiny intricate details that breathe life into the scene. The cracked pane on an antique door, the steam rising from a cup of coffee, and the flickering fire in the hearth. They're like the icing on the cake, making the whole piece feel complete. It's like I'm giving the viewer a magnifying glass to explore every nook and cranny. But you know what really keeps me going? It's the sense of community. Thanks to the wonders of the internet, I've connected with artists from around the globe who share this passion. We trade tips, offer critics, and cheer each other on. It's like having a bunch of creative cheerleaders in my corner, and it makes the whole journey feel less lonely. One thing I've noticed is how much I've come to appreciate the beauty in everyday life. Before I started focusing on these scenes, I might have walked past a charming alleyway or a notebook store without giving them a second thought. But now, I find myself constantly looking for inspiration in the mundane. It's like having a pair of enchanted glasses that reveal hidden gems all around me. And you know what's really cool? I often blend different elements from various places and time to create something entirely new. It's like being an architect, historian, and visionary all rolled into one. I can take the elegance of Victorian architecture, throw in some futuristic elements, and poof, there is a whole new world waiting to be explored. It's like time traveling through art. Now, let's talk about the thrill of exploration. When I start a new piece, it's like embarking on an adventure. I never quite know how it will turn out. Sometimes the artwork takes on a life of its own, and I'm just along for the ride. It's a bit like opening a treasure chest and discovering unexpected gems inside. That unpredictably keeps the process exciting. And can we talk about the importance of setting the right mood? It's not just about making something look pretty. It's about making the viewer feel something. Imagine drawing a spooky abandoned house. You want the person looking at it to feel a shiver down their spine. It's like being a puppeteer, pulling emotional strings through my art. And when someone says my piece evokes a feeling in them, whether it's nostalgia or even a bit of wanderlust, it's like I've hit the jackpot. Technology plays a big role in my art journey too. Digital tools give me the flexibility to experiment without fear of ruining a physical canvas. I can make 1,000 mistakes and hit undo until I get it right. It's like having a magical eraser that never runs out. Plus, digital art opens up a whole world of possibilities for adding animation and interactivity. Something like turning a static picture into a living, breathing scene. Sometimes I get lost in the research of a piece. If I'm drawing a historical interior, I'll pull overall photographs and documents to get every detail just right. It feels like becoming a mini historian for a while. I've even learned a bit about architecture and interior design along the way, which adds another layer of appreciation to the spaces I'm drawing. Speaking of appreciation, have you ever tried explaining your art to someone who doesn't quite get it? It's a bit like describing a dream you know it's meaningful, but the words can't quite capture it. When I share my work, I often find myself saying, You have to see it to get it. And when they finally see it, and the aha moment lights up their face, it's like we're speaking a secret art language together. I'm also a firm believer in the power of storytelling through art. When I draw scenes, I often imagine the stories that could unfold within those walls. It's like being a silent playwright, leaving hints and clues for the viewer to piece together the narrative. When someone tells me they have come up with a story inspired by my artwork, well, that's the ultimate compliment. Drawing environments and interiors in my digital style isn't just a hobby or creative outlet. It's a journey that continues to enrich my life in countless ways. It's about storytelling, connections, exploration, and growth. If you ever find yourself curious about this art form, or if you're already on a similar journey, let's keep the conversation alive. Art is a language that transcends borders, and every stroke of the brush or tap of the stylus has the power to create a bridge between heart and mind. So, there you have it, mate. My deep dive into drawing environments and interiors in my digital style. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's my creative playground where I can bring worlds to life, tell stories without words, and simply get lost in the art of imagining. If you got an interest that fires you up like this, I'd love to hear all about it.